Have you ever purchased something unnecessary because the salesperson was friendly and persuasive? Do you often follow the majority when making decisions? Have you ever felt a pang of envy toward a friend? Do you need help to make choices when faced with numerous options? You're not alone if you answered yes to any of these questions. Many people fall into the trap of flawed thinking. In this summary of The Art of Thinking Clearly, you'll learn why people often fail to reason and how to avoid these mental pitfalls. We'll explore cognitive biases and mental shortcuts, understanding their benefits and drawbacks. By the end of this summary, you'll be equipped with tools to enhance your decision-making skills and lead a more rational life. Stick with us until the end of this audiobook summary to uncover the secrets of clear thinking. You'll gain valuable insights into thinking more logically and making better decisions. Let's dive in and explore how to think more clearly. The black swan. For centuries, it was believed that swans were only white. No one had ever seen a swan of any other color, so it was universally accepted that swans could only be white. However, in 1697, an explorer named Willem de Vlamingh discovered black swans in Australia. Since then, the term black swan has come to symbolize a rare, unpredictable, and astonishing event. Statisticians and authors like Nassim Nicholas Taleb elaborate on this concept in their book, The Black Swan. Let's consider an example. Every day, the Dow Jones Index fluctuates slightly up or down. Investors are usually unaffected by these small changes. However, on October 19, 1987, the market experienced a sudden 22% drop, a crash that had a global impact and is still considered a significant historical event. Similarly, a black swan event can impact your job, business, life, and country. These events can be either positive or negative. For instance, getting a big break in your career or discovering a gold mine are examples of positive black swan events. Conversely, a massive meteorite impact on Earth would be an example of an adverse black swan event. We categorize information into things we know, known knowns, things we know we don't know, known unknowns, and things we don't know that we don't know, unknown unknowns. Known facts are straightforward, like general knowledge. Unknowns are questions we might eventually answer, such as the size of the universe or the impact of the internet on our intelligence. However, unknown unknowns are different. For example, 2 centuries ago, no one could have predicted that social media would dominate our lives. So why is it essential to understand black swans? Because they have become increasingly significant in recent years. We plan for the future, but that doesn't fully prepare us for black swan events. By learning about these rare and unpredictable occurrences, we can better navigate the complexities of life and make more informed decisions. Let's delve deeper into the art of thinking clearly and uncover the secrets to a more rational and logical mindset. Understanding our evolutionary brain. Our brains evolved to help us hunt and gather, a task well suited for our Stone Age ancestors who didn't encounter anything extraordinary. They simply chased deer that could be fast or slow, fat or thin. Predicting and learning from their environment was straightforward. However, today's modern world is vastly different. Our brains need help to keep up with rapid technological progress. Many people have experienced black swan events and become millionaires. Examples include J.K. Rowling, Larry Page, and Usain Bolt, who achieved great success and wealth through a breakthrough. This has only become possible in recent years. How to benefit from black swan knowledge. To take advantage of black swan events, put yourself in situations with potential positive outcomes. Successful business people, artists, and investors often have more opportunities because their products or ideas eventually gain widespread appreciation. On the other hand, Employees, journalists, or dentists who sell their time have fewer opportunities for a big break. To protect yourself from negative black swans, avoid debt, save money, and invest cautiously. Whether or not you experience a big break, saving money is always a prudent strategy. The power of social proof. Imagine you're on your way to a concert and see a crowd of people looking up at the sky. Naturally, you want to know what's happening, so you also look up. This is an example of social proof. At the concert, a solo performer shows extraordinary skill. Someone in the audience starts clapping, and soon everyone, including you, joins in. This is also social proof. After the concert, you go to the counter to collect your coat. You see people tipping the staff, even though the ticket price includes the service charge. Due to social proof, you also end up tipping. Social proof, or herd mentality, occurs when people follow others, believing their actions are correct. When many people do something or believe in something, it is assumed to be the correct behavior or idea. People mimic others without thinking, driving fashion, food trends, etc. However, it can also have adverse effects, such as when people panic in the stock market or commit mass suicide in the name of religion. Solomon Ash's experiment on peer pressure. In the 1950s, famous psychologist Solomon Asch conducted a simple experiment demonstrating how peer pressure can distort common sense. A participant was given a piece of paper with 4 lines drawn. The task was to select the line that matched the height of the original line. Line A was shorter, line B was more extended, and line C was the same height as the original line. When the participants were alone, they always chose the correct answer, finding the task easy. However, the psychologist then hired 5 actors to participate in the test with the participant. The actors were instructed to choose line A as the answer. After hearing their responses, the participant became confused and chose the wrong answer 33% of the time, influenced by the actors who incorrectly chose line A over line C, the evolutionary basis for social proof. Why does social proof have such a profound impact on us? It was a good survival strategy for our ancestors. Imagine that 50,000 years ago, you were hunting on the Serengeti plain with others. Suddenly, everyone starts running and hides behind bushes. What would you do? Would you stop to think whether they saw a lion or an animal to hunt? No, you would immediately follow the group. Act first, think later. In those times, anyone who behaved differently likely didn't survive. Understanding these evolutionary traits and cognitive biases allows you to make more rational decisions in today's complex world. Let's delve deeper into the art of thinking clearly and uncover more secrets to clear thinking. You are a descendant of those Homo sapiens who mimicked others and survived. This makes social proof deeply ingrained in us, influencing our behavior even when it doesn't benefit our lives. Businesses, governments, and leaders often exploit our susceptibility to social proof. For instance, comedy and talk shows use recorded laughter to encourage the audience to laugh. A historical example of social proof is Nazi propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels' speech in 1943. As Germany was losing the war, Goebbels asked the crowd, "Do you want a total war? Do you want a war more extreme than anything ever seen?" The crowd roared in agreement. Few would have agreed to such a drastic idea individually, but social proof led to collective agreement. Therefore, be cautious about following the majority. Think for yourself and make decisions based on your knowledge and intuition. Sunk cost fallacy. One evening, writer Rolf Dobelli and his wife were watching a boring movie in a theater. Ralph suggested they leave, but his wife insisted on staying to avoid wasting the $30 they had spent on tickets. Ralph explained that the money had already been spent, so it didn't matter whether they watched the movie. However, his wife insisted, and they stayed. The following day, Ralph attended a marketing meeting where the team ran an ineffective advertising campaign for 4 months. Ralph wanted to shut it down, but the advertising manager insisted on continuing due to the money already invested. This is a classic example of the sunk cost fallacy. The sunk cost fallacy occurs when we've invested significant time, energy, money, or love into something, making it hard to let go, even when continuing leads to more losses. Investors often fall into this trap by holding on to poorly performing stocks, focusing only on the initial investment rather than future potential. The need for stability and a desire to appear trustworthy contribute to the sunk cost fallacy. People avoid admitting mistakes and pretend everything is fine. Governments, too, fall victim. For example, the Concorde supersonic aircraft project continued despite doubts about its success. Similarly, the US persisted in the Vietnam War despite clear signs of failure. Reflect on your own life. Are you investing time, energy, money, and attention into something that isn't working? Instead of focusing on past investments, consider letting go and thinking about the future. Holding on may lead to more losses and missed opportunities. The power of reciprocity. Have you ever been approached at an airport or railway station by members of a religious sect, offering you flowers or other items as a gift? Even if you want to refuse, you might accept the item. Later, you see another member asking for a donation. This is the principle of reciprocity in action. Reciprocity, or mutual exchange, is the secret behind many successful campaigns and sales techniques. People don't like feeling indebted and often want to return the favor. Many organizations use this principle to their advantage. For instance, an environmental group might send you beautiful postcards as a gift, encouraging you to donate. Even when you know it's a strategy, the sense of indebtedness can be intense. Reflect on how reciprocity affects your decisions and interactions. By understanding this principle, you can better navigate situations where others might use it to influence your behavior. Understanding cognitive biases like social proof, the sunk cost fallacy, and reciprocity can help you make more rational decisions. By thinking independently, evaluating investments based on future potential, and recognizing when you're being influenced by reciprocity, you can enhance your decision-making skills and lead a more logical, fulfilling life. Understanding reciprocity. You could consider reciprocity a form of gentle blackmail or mild corruption. For example, a sales agent invites you to a free program, assuring you there's no pressure to buy their products. However, you might feel obligated to order something to repay the favor after attending. This technique has been around since ancient times and has been crucial for survival. Imagine one day you hunt a large deer. You can't eat the whole deer in one day, so you share it with your companions. In return, the next time they catch a large animal, they share it with you. This system of reciprocity not only ensured survival, but also managed risk, fostering cooperation among humans who weren't related. It's essential for business, making money, and economic growth. Without reciprocity, there would be no global economy. However, reciprocity has a darker side, including manipulation and the desire for revenge. Opposing parties may continue fighting until one side backs down, showcasing the feeling of revenge. Now that you understand reciprocity, recognize that when someone offers you something for free, they likely expect something in return. Envy and its impact. Envy and jealousy are often confused but differ significantly. Envy is driven by a desire for something someone else has, while a fear of losing something drives jealousy. Envy typically occurs between two people, while jealousy involves three. For instance, Josh feels jealous of Sam because the girl next door gives Sam more attention. We generally feel envy toward people similar to us in age, career, and status. We don't envy someone who started their entrepreneurial journey years ago or is a millionaire in another country, but we envy those living in our city. If you're a CEO, you'll envy another wealthy CEO. If you're a supermodel, you'll envy a more famous supermodel. Aristotle famously said, "A potter envies another potter." This brings us to a practical mistake. Imagine your startup becomes successful and you move from a crowded neighborhood in New York to the Upper East Side. Initially, you will enjoy your new status and your friends will be impressed. However, you soon realize many people in the Upper East Side have better apartments than yours. You feel like the poorest among your new friends, and things you never cared about before, like luxury items and club memberships, start to bother you. How to control envy. To control envy, follow these steps. 1. Stop comparing yourself to others. 2. Find your unique abilities and excel in an area, no matter how small. Envy, like all emotions, has roots in our evolutionary history. Early humans, envious of others' larger shares of resources, were motivated to work harder to secure more. Those who didn't care as much or weren't motivated eventually faded. We are descendants of those envious Homo sapiens. However, understanding and managing these emotions can lead to a more rational and fulfilling life in the modern world. Recognize when you're being influenced by reciprocity or envy and make conscious decisions based on your knowledge and intuition rather than emotional impulses. Envy is no longer necessary for survival. If your coworker buys a Porsche, it doesn't mean they took something from you. Remember, don't envy others. Instead, envy the person you dream of becoming and strive to reach that level. The paradox of choice. Rolf Dobelli once conducted research at his local grocery store. He observed an overwhelming number of choices: 134 types of wine, 48 varieties of yogurt, 64 different cleaning products, and approximately 30,000 items. This abundance of options extends to thousands of careers, hundreds of mental disorders, and countless vacation spots. In the past, humans had far fewer choices. For example, Ralph recalled only 3 types of yogurt, 2 TV channels, 2 types of cheese, and a telephone service operated by Swiss Post. Today, phone stores offer countless brands, models, and services. More options are seen as progress, distinguishing us from our Stone Age ancestors. However, too many options can degrade the quality of our lives, a concept known as the paradox of choice. Psychologist Barry Schwartz explains this in his book, The Paradox of Choice *. Having too many options can numb the mind. A supermarket once experimented. One day, they set up a stall with 24 types of jelly for customers to sample and buy at a discount. The next day, they repeated the experiment but displayed only 6 flavors. The result? More people bought jelly when there were fewer options. Too many choices made it difficult for customers to decide, so they bought nothing. Another reason for the paradox of choice is that having too many options can lead to poor decisions. For example, college students might say they want qualities like kindness, intelligence, and humor in a life partner, but when faced with numerous options, they might prioritize physical appearance instead. This is because our brains simplify decision-making when overwhelmed by choices. Having too many options can also lead to dissatisfaction. If a store offers 200 varieties of shoes, how can you be sure you're choosing the best pair? The answer is, you can't. More options often lead to clarity and satisfaction. To combat this, carefully consider what you like before shopping or searching online. Make a list of criteria and stick to it. Accept that you will never make a perfect decision and learn to be happy with your choices. This also applies to finding a life partner. You'll never see the perfect person, so learn to accept and love the person you choose, flaws and all. Chauffeur knowledge. In 1918, Max Planck was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics and began a lecture tour across Germany. His driver memorized his lectures on quantum mechanics. One day, the driver suggested that he lecture in Munich, while Planck sat in the audience wearing the driver's cap. Planck agreed, and the driver delivered the lecture flawlessly. However, when a physics professor asked a question, the driver cleverly deferred to Planck, disguised as the driver, to answer it. This story illustrates the difference between actual knowledge and chauffeur knowledge. Fundamental knowledge belongs to those who dedicate significant time and effort to studying a topic. Chauffeur knowledge is superficial, used to impress others without proper understanding. People with chauffeur knowledge present themselves well, but need more depth. The problem with chauffeur knowledge. News anchors and some journalists are prime examples. They appear knowledgeable, but often rely on prepared scripts. In contrast, true experts acknowledge the limits of their knowledge. If they don't know the answer to a question, they admit it. Charlatans, on the other hand, evade questions or use fancy words to cover their ignorance. Be cautious to avoid falling prey to chauffeur knowledge. True experts recognize what they don't know, while charlatans never admit their lack of knowledge. The key is to value depth and genuine understanding over superficial appearances. Understanding and managing cognitive biases such as envy, the paradox of choice, and chauffeur knowledge can help you make more rational decisions and lead a more fulfilling life. Liking bias, how we are influenced. Rolf Dobelli's friend Kevin once bought 2 expensive bottles of wine. Kevin rarely drank wine, not even the cheap kind, but the salesman was so lovely and non-pushy that Kevin ended up buying them. Meanwhile, Joe Girard, possibly the world's most successful car salesman, emphasized the importance of making customers feel liked and cared for. Joe would send his customers a monthly card saying, "I like you." This is known as the liking bias, where we are more inclined to buy from or help those we like. Research shows that we tend to like physically attractive people with similar backgrounds or interests, making us feel valued. The advertising industry capitalizes on these principles. Ads often feature attractive people, as those who could be more visually appealing are rarely seen. Advertisements also use relatable people, like homemakers in detergent commercials, to create a sense of similarity with the target audience. Techniques to influence liking. Another technique is mirroring, where the salesperson mimics the customer's words, gestures, and expressions. For instance, if a customer speaks slowly and scratches their head, the salesperson does the same. This creates a sense of similarity, making the customer more likely to buy. Compliments also play a significant role in advertisements, with phrases like, "because you're worth it," or "that color suits you well," making us feel valued and liked. Multi-level marketing, MLM, companies like Tupperware thrive on the liking bias. Despite similar products being available at lower prices, Tupperware's sales are high because their agents host home parties, creating a personal connection with customers. Non-government organizations also use the liking bias to encourage donations. Campaigns often feature images of women and children rather than tough-looking or injured soldiers, even though they also need support. Real-life example. Rolf Dobelli had a friend named David, an oil pump dealer who closed a $10 million deal abroad. During a meeting, David and his client discovered a mutual love for sailing. Their business meeting turned into a friendly chat about sailing, leading to a strong bond, and ultimately, the deal. If you're a sales agent, compliment your customers and think positively about them. If you're a customer, focus on the product's merits rather than the salesperson's charm. Conclusion. 1. Black swan events. These are rare, unpredictable events. Avoid negative impacts by saving money, staying out of debt, and being a vigilant investor. 2. Social proof. People tend to follow the majority. To avoid this, take time to think for yourself before making decisions. 3. Sunk cost fallacy. Continuing to invest in something because of past investments is a mistake. Focus on potential future losses instead. 4. Reciprocity. The act of giving and receiving can be manipulative. Be cautious of gifts or favors as they often come with expectations. 5. Envy. A normal but foolish emotion. Don't compare yourself to others. Focus on your skills and improvements. 6. Paradox of choice. More options can be overwhelming and lead to satisfaction. Decide what you want beforehand and be satisfied with your choice. 7. Show for knowledge. True experts admit when they don't know something, while pretenders use fancy words to cover their ignorance. Be cautious of superficial knowledge. 8. Liking bias. We are more likely to buy from or help those we like. Make decisions based on the product's value, not the salesperson's charm. Thank you for listening to this audiobook summary. We hope you found value in it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications bell icon to stay updated with our latest content. For more insightful summaries, check out the other content on our channel. Keep exploring and enriching your mind with us. Until then, see you in the following summary.